I'm really thrilled to welcome Mark Ruan and Caroline Chan here today to talk about the revolutionary rollout that Dish is making in its 5G network in the US right now. So, Mark and Caroline, welcome to VMworld. Mark, let me start with you. Dish has taken on building a network from the ground up. This is a brand new network. This is something that no one has really attempted before in the US in a really long time. What has that experience been like for you?
Yeah, so Sachin, we've been together on this for what, about 2 years now. And when we started with cloud native and ORAN, we didn't know if things would work. And pretty much the dreams we had are coming to reality now. The software we're consuming is cloud native. ORAN is starting to work very well on our side, and all the vendors, be it the chipset vendors or the infra vendors, have delivered on their promise. So what used to be a concept is starting to be real, and for us this is like, wow, that's really getting a very unique experience now.
That's very exciting. To follow up on that, you took a rather unique approach when you decided how to design this network. And really, what I mean is that unlike most operators, you chose the cloud first before you chose the applications that run on the cloud. Typically, many other operators choose the application like the radio network or the core network vendor and then pick the cloud. But you took a bold step of choosing the cloud first. What was the thinking behind taking such an approach?
Yeah, so you said it right. All existing operators have been using the cloud as a second thought. That is, you have a network and then you see how you can leverage the cloud for some parts of your network. By doing so, you always end up having just a small part of your network in the cloud. We did the opposite. We said, because we're starting as a greenfield, can we put everything in the cloud and leverage all the cloud capabilities, networking, reliability, close location to the edge, analytics tools, lifecycle management. Once you have decided you can embrace everything, then we said, what's left? So the idea was to say, if we choose the cloud provider first, then we see what's left. And that's really, that was our journey. But I think you can only do that if you're a greenfield, right?
Yeah, it is truly revolutionary, and I think it's an industry first. I'm really excited to looking to the results that come out as we launch the network now. Caroline, a question for you. So, what is Intel doing in enabling such a cloud-first approach for telco deployments?
So, Sachin, thanks. That's a great question. And like Mark said, this is a industry first. No one has tried it before. The mindset that we have is that given this is a cloud first, we have to adapt. The FlexRAN stack itself is something that we have provide as a reference design to our customers who then take it to commercial. But because this is a cloud first, because no one has done it before, we have to roll up our sleeves, work closely with the VMware team, with the Dish team, with all of the partners that touch upon the RAN space and beyond to work together. We start taking a CI/CD approach. It's not like you give it and then you've done it all, but you have to continuously finding issues, fixing issues, improve upon it, and then also adopting some of the new best known methods from the VMware team, from the Dish team, and coming back and rejiggle our software. It becomes a continuous approach moving forward. In a way, it's almost mirror how we work with our data center customers. That learning is fairly new, and we really start taking a different approach to look at what is the best way to deliver a 5G networking platform to our end customers. We learn a lot from this as well. It's a really refreshing experience for everybody.
No, that is spot on. I think you hit the nail on the head. This has been a partnership. It is still a continuing learning experience for all of us, VMware, Intel, and Dish. And because it's a one of a kind and the first time someone is doing it, I think we are all learning as we go. One of the things you touched on, Caroline, and a question for you, Mark, is that we are all doing this for the first time. So not only did you pick a cloud, we are working with Intel. We also have a lot of partners that are now being put together and asked to come work together very closely that have potentially never collaborated before. And you touched on this, so this is the first ORAN network. And ORAN is all about openness and disaggregation, being able to put in components from different vendors together and build a truly programmable, open mobile network, which is, again, someone's attempting that for the first time. So as you and I know, we have been through our ups and downs in attempting this, and I feel like we are seeing now seeing light at the end of the tunnel. But wanted to hear your thoughts and experiences on putting something like this complex together for the first time. What has your experience been in getting all of these partners to work closely together? How do we make this go faster? How do we automate this? Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, as you say, we're deeper into the software, the integration, the interoperability than before, because we are aggregating a lot of vendors. But together we have had a different approach. Both of you know that we don't have physical labs as such. We have mainly virtual labs or labs that we share with our partners, with our vendors. And we share the data, we share the capabilities, we share the logging tools, the ticketing tools. So it becomes truly a true DevOps environment where, as Caroline, you were saying, we can learn on a daily basis. So the speed is much faster. Maybe there is a bit more work to integrate. Maybe there are more tests to run, but the speed and the capability is really so different that it's really exciting. We can do things in days. We can change parameters or protocols automatically in minutes or seconds, all together as one team. I've never seen that in the industry before. The telco has been a very sequential waterfall where a cycle would take a year and a half. Here, it's like every day it's a new cycle altogether. And I think that's really the big benefit that we're going to see out of ORAN, open software, and a joint work on the standards and the performance together.
Could not agree with you more. I think reflecting back on VMware's experience, we started working around 18 months back, working with a bunch of partners. And I myself have seen how much VMware itself has changed in learning what it takes to actually put together all of these partners on a cloud, and especially in the radio access network for the first time. And one of the key lessons on that front is how important automation is to actually make this all happen, right? It's a key success metric for you, Mark, and I think this has been a theme for you from day one. The very first time I met you 2 years ago, that was literally the first conversation we had. How do we leverage the cloud to bring in automation to this world? And Caroline had brought up bringing in cloud approaches like CI/CD and continuous testing to automate telco-grade production deployments, right? So what has been your experience in working with VMware Cloud Infrastructure around realizing this telco-grade automation journey as you roll out the Dish network?
Yeah, so automation is a key thing, right? Automation cannot be done in a traditional telco. I mean, that's what I've learned in my past life. You can script a few things, but you can't really automate for a lot of reasons. Here we started from day one. We're not completely where we want to be yet. We have been doing very well on the automation of what we call onboarding, both on VMware and AWS, where when we get a new software, we can automatically upgrade the software throughout the network automatically without any manual intervention. And we can scale up, scale down, we can create new instances. I mean, so our network is dynamic. I'm very proud of that. Where I think we still have work to do with our partners is on test automation. Over time, we have to make sure that all the testing is happening real time when we deploy new software or when we instantiate new networks, where everything is being tested live and automatically with no human intervention. So that's our next big project. We're going to run thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of tests per day, but because it's going to be fully automated. And once we have that, the speed of innovation is going to be just at a different level, because we'll be able to see success or failure within minutes. So that's the next big thing in the next 3 to 6 months, test automation. And then we'll be on our journey moving forward.
Very exciting. And I think that's a good segue to what my next question was going to be, Caroline, which is we are going to be in this critical and exciting time where the network goes live, first customers are going to be able to access it. And as Mark is saying, it's almost a live test that we are doing by trying something like this for the first time and launching a brand new standalone cloud native ORAN enabled 5G network for the first time. So what has Intel's approach been in helping Dish succeed in this quest? What are your focus areas, Caroline?
We're going to be there every step of the way. This is really important because it really set the pace for the rest of the industry. Everybody's looking at, can this be done? And we cannot fail. I mean, we together, I'm confident that we have learned enough. And the neat thing about it, Satya and Mark, is I've witnessed our team, the Intel team, become really agile. They almost at they're trained now to adopt the cloud first mentality, knowing that things could go wrong, but then we react really quickly. So together, like Mark mentioned, there's a lab, and the lab is not just a lab that's a Dish only. It's a lab that all the vendors are in there. We will continuously putting our best teams forward, the team A plus forward, to working closely with all the partners that, Mark, I remember you have this wall of partners. It's not just the three of us sitting here. There's actually multiple people. We're going to be on the ground with you, making sure that this cloud first approach will be successful, and it is successful. So I'm 100% confident of that.
No, great. It truly takes a village, right? It's not any one of us who can pull it off by ourselves. Mark, just piggybacking on Caroline's comment about cloud first, one of the other new things, apart from many of the other things we already talked about that you're trying out, is also a multi-cloud approach to rolling out a 5G network. So you have mentioned, obviously, we are working with VMware on deploying the RAN, and you're also working with AWS. And so I wanted to ask you about how are you thinking about working with VMware to meet your multi-cloud goals and offering flexibility to be able to run some of the network services on the public cloud while preserving a common abstraction end-to-end?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to explain because there's so much that is new. But I've tried to explain in the past that I see two clouds inside Dish. The centralized cloud, which is the easiest one to understand, that's the one we're doing with AWS, and then the distributed cloud, the edge cloud. This one is more difficult to grasp because nobody has ever done that. What is a distributed edge cloud? It's a cloud where you can decide where you put your compute, where you put your software. You can put it at the center of a city, or you can go all the way to the different factories, warehouse. Your software will move all the way to the enterprise own data centers. And that's what we're doing with VMware. And when we are going to the edge, that's where we're meeting our customers and our enterprise customers, and they all have a different consumption of the software, and they all have a different set of partners in the cloud. And we want to be able to offer them the possibility to pick and choose what they put at the edge, but also how they consume the applications on top of our network. So they could be a partner of Azure or Google or Oracle, IBM, or any other cloud, and they need to be seamlessly being able to use our cloud to connect their enterprise to their applications or data that they host somewhere in one or several clouds. So that's why VMware is so important to us. That's what is bringing together all the diversity of the real enterprise world. When we go to the edge, we are meeting that diversity, and we do that with VMware and with Dell, and that's what I call the distributed edge.
So, and VMware is thrilled to partner with you on building out this world-first distributed edge cloud. And piggybacking on your enterprise comment, I still remember vividly the very first time we met with Charlie and Sid and you were very clear from day one that you want to build an enterprise-first mindset rather than a consumer-oriented mobile network that has been built many times before. So you're really focused on building a network that is about delivering enterprise services to business customers and making sure that the network is architected in a manner that it is very easy to construct enterprise services that can be monetized on top of the network. How are you thinking about the architecture for this in addition to the distributed edge cloud? I know you have talked about marketplaces, and specifically how do offerings like private 5G, mobile edge computing, and the intelligent edge from at the enterprise fit into this picture?
Yeah, so we are distributing consumer, but consumer for us is one sort of enterprise. So you have consumer, you have healthcare, you have smart cities, you have utilities, and on and on. Instead of having one consumer market that we are trying to adapt to the enterprise, we've said, let's consider consumer as one vertical. And that means that day one, when we did the architecture, we thought about having multiple requirements. Consumer market does not require the same thing as a drone network or a healthcare network in terms of reliability, bandwidth, reach. So the network, the basics of the network have been designed to accommodate slicing or separation or of different enterprise requirements, all to the extent that some enterprises may even come with their own cloud services, their own capability, their own subscriber management or policy engine to connect to a part of a network. It's it's a la carte. Before it was everybody has the same menu. It's consumer, and then you can just buy SIM cards and call it an enterprise offer. But for us, it's a la carte. You're building your network with your own assets, with dish assets, mixing that together. And the secret sauce of the architecture we're doing is that by design, we can accommodate these different slices or requirements natively. And we're starting to test that. We're lucky that 5G architecture specs, 5G architecture by a 3GPP were designed for that purpose. So we don't have to invent anything. We just have to do it in the best way we can so that we are enterprise native and slice ready.
That's a great comment, and again, that's the first time someone is attempting to build a network from the ground up that is enterprise focused. Caroline, I know Intel is also heavily investing in making sure that the power of 5G is available to the enterprise by building applications and showcasing how Intel can help both telco as well as enterprise customers take advantage of the power of 5G. What are specific investments or plans that Intel has in enabling enterprise monetization for 5G?
So we work across the verticals, and we work including closely with both VMware and Dish. We all, like Mark is saying, that we looked at 5G is really the biggest ROI is likely come from the additional verticals. So we've invested in the 5G Open Innovation Lab together with VMware. We have investing in different verticals. Education, industrial is coming out to be a very the first vertical to really take 5G. We just announced a smart logistics network here in the United States with the state of Utah to modernize how they control all the cargoes flying. By doing so, we want to create this blueprint that we can scale through companies like Dish and like VMware. The investment going in is to, first of all, attract the developers coming on. The cloud native principle definitely attract them. And also to develop a cohort that can take this into the market, including with you and with the AWS and so on, preparing the ecosystem together, because that 5G for enterprise is way beyond what we need to do to put together for 5G for consumers. A lot of best practice needs to be written up, including the monetization aspect of it. So we'll be sharing quite a bit of that in the coming events, and definitely with our best customers like Dish and VMware.
Very exciting. So this is 2021, and we cannot have a technology conversation without talking about AI. So Mark, the last question for you. We talked a lot about automation, but automation is just an enabler. Someone still needs to figure out how to automate. And one of the key principles is using analytics and AI to learn how to automate a lot of the issues that crop up when you're running a network. So how important is analytics and AI to you in your network architecture, and what are the steps you're taking to ensure that you can leverage the best advances that are coming in these exciting fields to apply also to 5G network design and operations?
Yeah, it's, I think it has to be designed from the beginning. I'll just take the example of RIC, the radio intelligent controller in ORAN that you know very well, Sachin. Why is the RIC so powerful in ORAN? Because first, it extracts the data. So you have a very strong observability capability. You can't do anything smart if you can't observe. So in the ORAN, the RIC allows you to observe, and then you expose that data to anyone that can create an application, a sort of app store. So any smart startup company, any smart university can come and bring their novel capabilities on top of this RIC. That's the way we have designed AI across the network. We've not shared that too much because we have not been asked, but basically throughout the network, we have observability as a key architecture principle everywhere. This has been a lot of fight, a lot of push because the telco world is not observable. But now we can say we have succeeded. Everything is observable, and everything goes into a distributed data lake, and that data lake is shared with people that can bring intelligence and AI on top using all the best AI techniques. So again, we've been thinking about that from day one. And the fact that it's a cloud native network and ORAN network has given us the right structure to expose that data for advanced AI. So I just can't wait to have enough traffic to start playing with AI. I mean, I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun. That will be the next level of fun experimenting with our network.
No, truly, it's going to be like kids in a candy store for you and me.
Yeah.
Once we have a network that is carrying live traffic. And I must say, VMware and Intel have a very close collaboration on making the RIC happen. We are very much excited about the kind of observability, real-time observability and control that will bring, and the opportunities that it will bring for applying AI and modern analytics techniques to this network. So this has been a fantastic conversation, Mark and Caroline. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I am really looking forward to the launch of the network and starting to see the power of all these technologies come to fruition. Thank you.